go from Purcell Pavilion. NC State, Notre Dame, off and running. A little bit of a shaky start, but now recovered by NC State. Saniya Rivers with the ball in her hands, passes off to Madison Hayes. No Mimi Collins tonight. Weren't sure if she'd be able to go. So she is on the bench, unavailable for NC State, as Rivers took the first shot. And then for Notre Dame, you're used to seeing this starting five. Same one they've had now for the 11th straight game. They're 8-2 in this lineup since Sonia Citron has returned. Anna DeWolf coming off a spectacular game. 24 points, 6 of 9 from 3 in that ridiculous win for Notre Dame down in Tallahassee. Jasmine, no, you were on the call for that one. Double overtime victory for the Irish.
I was. We knew it would be a good one, and they gave us our money's worth. It was a fun game to call.
So Zoe Brooks getting the start in place of Mimi Collins. A little smaller for the Wolfpack, but they go inside to Baldwin for the first two.
And Hayes definitely a player that's capable of playing that forward position. She's already versatile at the wing spot, and she's just tough. So it'll be fun to see how she plays that forward position today.
Watson inside to Westbound.
You see both teams really establishing their inside game first.
Has it tapped away by the nation's best at doing just that. Hidalgo, #1 in the nation, only player in the country with more than 100 steals. But the Irish turned it right back over. Only meeting of the regular season for these two teams as Zoe Brooks says hello.
You know, it's been a year for freshmen, and Zoe is also having a great season. Typically the spark off of the bench for the Wolfpack. Getting the start tonight, what a great opportunity for her. And you see she's starting off good, making a three.
First start for Zoe since January 18th. Here is Citron short on the three-point attempt. And also looking forward to facing off against her former teammate in AAU and McDonald's All-American game, Hannah Hidalgo.
Oh, look at that. How cute is that? You know, you forget with the type of the way these players play, how young they are.
Hidalgo leading the way, pulls up for the jumper. And that is more what NC State would want, right? They want a jumper rather than a layup.
Yeah, they absolutely want to contain Hannah, keep them in front of her, and not let her get to her right hand. That's been something with them, just starting games locked in, focused on both sides of the ball. They've, at certain times in the season, got themselves in trouble with mistakes or turnovers early. So being on their home floor, I would expect them to, you know, really try to lock in soon.
Yeah, they got down in Tallahassee, if I remember correctly, right? Florida State got off to a good start in that game. So the one thing that Neil Ivey has learned about this team is they know how to get back into it. But you'd rather not be in the hole to begin with. Friendly roll for leading scorer for the Wolfpack, Aziaha James, now 10-2.
Where they're going to get their best offense from.
Nat Marshall now into the game. She gets it. Brooks gets past Hidalgo, dishes to Baldwin. 6 points in the game for River Baldwin and an electric start for Zoe Brooks. Neil Ivey, a great point guard in her own right. ACC Coach of the Year last year as the Irish won the ACC regular season title.
You know, Notre Dame in that Florida State game found themselves in a similar situation. I believe they were down 16-6. Coach Ivey called a timeout, settled her group, and they came back out with more intensity on the defensive side of things. Maybe a frustration foul or just not really thinking. You don't want to make those.
Lacey Steele in for NC State. Baldwin already has 6, make it 8.
And Coach Moore talked about it. Repost River Baldwin in that instance.
And Notre Dame absolutely ice cold from the start here. 1 of 10 from the floor. Trying to get it done on the defensive end now. And they do at least get an empty possession from the Wolfpack this time down the floor. Hidalgo. Offensive foul. And I think this officiating crew is really going to have their hands full tonight.
Hannah Hidalgo, a player that is so great in the open floor when she can get downhill and get in the paint. So it is a good you know, it's a good thing for State to notice and recognize that and come over and take the charge, but Hannah's going to have to adjust.
Yeah, 3 offensive fouls at least have been called in this game so far against Notre Dame. A couple on illegal screens, if you call them that way. There's a good finish, and then a couple on the charge variety.
It's a nice finish by Aziaha James. Going right, finishing with the left. She is a lefty. That is her comfort hand to use.
Citron. Maybe that's the bucket right there that gets Notre Dame going, this Irish crowd. Hayes, yeah, that looks good. Best three-point shooter by percentage, almost 45%. Westbeld. Rattles it home for 3. Saniya Rivers in communication with her head coach, looking over at Westmore, watching the clock. From the corner, James, too strong. There is another chance here for Notre Dame. DeWolf launches from midcourt. And this quarter, all about the visiting NC State Wolfpack, 19-7. They lead it.
Rivers, Saniya Rivers being the go. She gets them going in transition, gets the tempo going, sets that tone. And then Aziaha James, if you've watched her this season, she can really put some points on the board, and it's fun and flashy, so she's definitely the show.
Now let's see who steps up for this Notre Dame team. Hidalgo's on the bench. Westbeld has 7 in the game of Notre Dame's 9.
And Maddie Westbeld being a very key piece for this team as well. We talk about they go as Hannah goes, but they also go as Westbeld goes. When she's playing well, it's good for Notre Dame.
Showing some zone on this end of the floor. See if they can quiet this NC State offense. Lacey Steele. Back to Rivers. No points in the game yet for Saniya Rivers. And a turnover by Hayes. Westbeld working off the screen. Notre Dame still stuck at 9. The NC State lead was 10. But Aziaha James adds a couple more. She's got 7 in the game.
And I don't know about going for that steal. It gave her kind of the momentum to go to her left hand, which is what Aziaha James wants to do.
Hidalgo's so good off the drive, but can't finish. Rivers. Jump ball is the call. And it's going to stay on this end with NC State. Got Baldwin at 6'5", Maddie Cox at 6'2", and of course the length of those guards. Cox will take the 3 and hit it. Don't let that size deceive you. She likes to shoot the 3. She's not shot it particularly well this season, but that's just her 3rd made 3.
She took that one with confidence.
She did.
Couldn't tell that she's not shooting a great percentage.
Well, she made one in the last game as well for NC State, a win at Pitt. Sometimes all you need is to see it go through the net.
Absolutely.
Notre Dame could use a little more of that, but have to hang on to the basketball. 2 on the shot clock for Hidalgo. Circus shot off the front of the rim. It did hit the front of the rim, so ignore that buzzer.
I mean, when a shot goes up, just look at the bodies of NC State making contact and boxing out. It's the reason they lead the conference in rebounds per game.
That's tight right now, though. Even at 15 rebounds apiece, that was really a part of the game. Both teams, both coaches stress. Rivers. Stopped on her way to the basket. Back out it goes for Steele. No.
But that's the kind of take I want to see from Saniya Rivers. Getting down lane lines, getting downhill.
Now River Baldwin just takes it away, and it's the biggest lead of the game now for NC State.
I would expect Notre Dame to probably try to extend some pressure here soon on the defensive end.
What else on the offensive end does Notre Dame need to see? Westbeld, she's been the go-to player so far in this game.
She has, like I said, just playing with a little bit more pace and tempo into their actions, into screens, cuts, moving off of the ball as well.
9 points in the game for Maddie Westbeld. And playing some good defense on this end. The Irish just 2 of 10 in this quarter. 23% for the game.
The Irish has found a little rhythm with Westbeld, though, so I think they might need to settle and play through her a little bit. Put her in the actions, put the ball in her hands, and see how State's defense responds.
Yeah, I mean, she has all but 2 of Notre Dame's points so far in this game. James gets it inside to Baldwin, who has a dozen.
State's just playing with so much confidence and composure. You see them pass the ball around, attack closeouts, penetrate, find each other. It's good basketball.
Now this team has really started to find itself as Citron adds to the scoring column now. No Mimi Collins, in case you missed that earlier, out with injury for NC State. But this bigger NC State lineup has been on the floor more often.
Yeah, I mean, you know, Notre Dame has size, so maybe matching up to the size just works a little better. They've obviously had a great half.
6 seconds on the shot clock. Rivers from the free throw line.
You see State icing some of the action to keep Notre Dame on the sideline, and it messes up their spacing.
3 seconds now to shoot. Westbeld for 3 is good. 12 points, 8 rebounds. KK Bransford squaring off against number 6 Washington. Little softball coming your way on ACCN. And an empty trip to the free throw line for Hayes.
Great football work by Citron. She gets stuck on the baseline. It looks like she has nowhere to go. She makes something out of nothing and ends up with 2 points.
Notre Dame inching closer, but still a double-digit deficit with halftime looming, excuse me. James, 8 on the shot clock, double team, but a foul. 18-second shot clock is off. Hidalgo going after it with Rivers, gets the jump ball called, and that is the fire that you love to see from the freshman. NC State making a statement so far here on the road at Purcell Pavilion. How will they end the half? Not with a bucket. But they do indeed. Such a highly anticipated matchup here tonight. The only top 20 matchup in the ACC tonight in women's hoops. And it has belonged to the visiting NC State Wolfpack so far. Watson trying to work that high-low game with Westbeld.
And that's the exact right look and execution. Maddie didn't come up with the bucket, but I like that decision on how to start this half for Notre Dame.
Starting 5 back on the floor for NC State. Zoe Brooks only played a little over 4 minutes in the first half. Did pick up 2 fouls. James, shot fake. You know, NCAA Sweet 16 a couple years ago. It's ACC tournament last year. I mean, the last 4 games have been decided by 6 points or less.
Yeah, and in our conversation with Coach Ivy, I like what she said about just how scout-heavy the ACC is. All these teams are so familiar with each other. The talent level is through the roof. So when they play, it can be like this. You know, you have to over-execute. As Hannah Hidalgo comes up with the steal, Hannah doing what Hannah does. She gets herself on the board in Hannah fashion, which is what I like to see.
First points of the game for Hannah Hidalgo. 10 points now. The lead for NC State tries to take it away from her former teammate, Zoe Brooks. Who's having none of it. That little game within the game has been kind of fun to watch when Brooks has been out there, 2 New Jersey natives. Rivers wants the 3, gets it.
Saniya Rivers, another player who's not by percentages shooting well from the three-point line, but definitely capable of knocking it down. And when she is scoring at all 3 levels, she is fun and hard to stop.
Hidalgo, speaking of hard to stop, tough drive. She looks right up at the referee for a foul, but none called.
Hannah Hidalgo went scoreless in the first half, but here you see Swiper doing what Swiper does, coming away with the steal for the layup for her first 2 points of the game.
You get a little joy in that, don't you?
I do.
The defensive side of you, which we know is a big side.
I really do. It's my favorite thing about her. To see a player so young take pride in that end of the floor is impressive.
Oh, what a pass from Saniya Rivers. So Johnson picks up her second foul on the play. Hayes went 0 for 2 from the line in the first half. She is a 79% free. And her 2 free throws were the only 2 that NC State shot in the first half. Notre Dame didn't shoot any.
I mentioned that first half went by fast, and I think that's why.
There you go. Citron usually takes advantage of points from the line. Not tonight, not yet. Brooks on the break. Rivers, just a bit of a touch. Is that Hidalgo?
It looked like Hidalgo came up with that one.
Bransford blocked by Rivers. It's a block party on both ends. Nobody here to stop Aziaha James now, though, and she holds that hand high after the basket.
What a sequence.
DeWolf to Westbeld. DeWolf hasn't found her shooting touch yet in this game. The grad transfer from Fordham. Brooks playing with the contacts now for the 5th straight game. Was wearing the goggles, and Hayes can see just fine. 2 more ACC teams represented. Virginia Tech at 10, Louisville at 16, and of course the important part of being in that top 16 is a chance to host the first and second rounds of the NCAA tournament.
Great job at it against Florida State, where she also had an off shooting night. She got to the free throw line.
So you're telling me she had 27 points, but to your point, I 7 of 25, right, from the field, but she was 13 of 14 from the line. Finding a way. 4 points now for Hidalgo, all of those coming since halftime. No points, no assists in the first half. I'm going to go out on a limb and say that's got to be the first time this season that has happened for her. Rivers pulls up. And Hidalgo with the rebound. 3 defenders around Hidalgo. Westbeld, a little more space to work with, takes advantage. Notre Dame's going to need a big night out of her, the way this one's gone so far, if they're to close this gap.
State being very intentional about taking their time. They're letting the clock run down every possession.
And if it ends that way, they won't complain. Rivers with her second triple of the quarter. She came in shooting 22% from downtown.
If I were Notre Dame, I would bring Maddie Westbeld to every ball screen, definitely get her every touch, give her more space to work with. You see she's crowded by 3 state players right now. She's going to get all the attention.
Hidalgo, little head shake, back to Westbeld, open for 3. Citron working the glass, gets the offensive rebound and the putback. And such a great spark off the bench for most of the season, but starting tonight for NC State with Mimi Collins unavailable. Hayes.
She didn't make that one, but that's another good look for Hayes right there at the free throw line.
Notre Dame, top scoring offense, top field goal percentage offense in the ACC. Haven't really looked at it tonight, but we give a lot of credit to what this NC State defense has done. One of the best defensive teams, but they can't stop Hannah Hidalgo on this possession. She's got to walk that line of playing with that intensity, going after the ball, but not picking up that 3rd foul.
Absolutely.
5 on the shot clock. Hayes off the glass and in.
That's a nice, tough, strong, physical take down that right lane line by Madison Hayes.
Westbeld trailing behind the play. Offensive foul on Westbeld. That's her 3rd.
Sliding over and taking charges. This is her 2nd one. I do think maybe she was moving a little bit, not quite set, but good heads-up play from her to even recognize that that was a good time to try to take that.
Westbeld stays on the floor. Neil Ivey showing a lot of trust, of course. Short bench for Notre Dame. They've had injuries. Olivia Miles, Kazan Prosper, Emma Risch, the freshman, all of them out. Citron missed 9 games. Hayes with the left, yes! 8 seconds difference, shot clock, game clock. Baldwin tapping it, can't keep it. Hidalgo, no. Watson. Foul is called for Notre Dame. In her second year with the program, has struggled at the line 57%.
Defensive responsibility for this Notre Dame group. She's really shown great improvement in that area.
Another jump ball forced on the rebound. You think both these teams have been doing some box out drills? NC State has outscored Notre Dame 15-10 this quarter. They were even the second quarter. Steal from Hidalgo, trying to turn it into two, and does. Maybe even three for number 3. 8 points in this quarter for Hidalgo. Short on the free throw. Bransford corrals the rebound, needs some help. Citron can't get the shot off. They got to protect this home floor. They've struggled to do that tonight.
Yeah, and I mean, it's also interesting to see that Notre Dame has that one at Duke. Duke has been tough to play against in Cameron this season, so that's a pretty hard stretch for them as well.
Rivers gets fouled, then they host Notre Dame. They're at Syracuse, and then they host NC State. All of those 4 in a row.
How much momentum you can have, coming out on top for a good amount of those games, if not all of them.
I like that silver lining you're putting in there. You sound like a coach. Surprise, surprise. Ofer on the free throw line there from Rivers. DeWolf to Hidalgo. 8 points for Hannah Hidalgo in the last quarter. Starting to heat up for Notre Dame. Make it 10.
She is, and something that I think Notre Dame can take away from that third quarter coming into this one is they were quicker to all the loose balls, in my opinion, in that at the end of that third.
Oh, Madison Hayes quicker than everybody down the floor. Got a nice pass, too. Maddie Cox has come in. Totally different look to the lineup with Cox out there over Brooks. Citron has 10 now. It's got to be taking every atom inside the body of Hannah Hidalgo not to want to come over and try to steal the ball from Saniya Rivers right now after that block. On NC State, trying to work the back door. Hayes was hit on her way to the basket. They currently sit at 3rd coming into tonight in the ACC standings. Notre Dame just outside that top 4 in 5th. But NC State ranked in the top 10 for the 13th straight week. Became the first team in history to go from unranked into the top 10 by the time November was not over. So they quickly made believers out of some people. Hidalgo, that's her 4th.
River Baldwin has taken 4? Is that her 4th? 3 or 4 charges in this game. The center has taken that many. Hannah Hidalgo just goes up, gets herself in trouble by going up off of 1 foot, and River Baldwin all night has been in the right place at the right time to take those charges.
I think it was the Florida State game at home for NC State earlier this year where Baldwin had 5 charges in 1 game. So, yeah, she is so smart and has been so quick at getting herself in position. Hayes, good. A Wolfpack feeling confident now. Notre Dame has come down from a 16-point deficit this season, 17 right now. That was at Tennessee earlier this year that the Irish came back, but they've not been able to put together consecutive possessions, right? Really on either end of the floor.
That is true. Aziaha James with a potential mismatch here with Maddie Westfall guarding her, but Maddie is a tough defender. She stays in front. But River Baldwin gets the short corner jumper to fall. It's been that, in most situations, you have some people having off nights. You can go down into your bench, find someone to make an impact. And if the Wolf sees some daylight and knocks down the shot. I like State's decision to bring their center up to get a catch and force Kylie Watson to defend the full court.
And that's it. That's going to do it for Hidalgo.
And that's the risk you take. You definitely need her on the floor. Who next can step up and make an impact? There's time to close this gap, but if not for this game, for the momentum into the next one.
Rivers can't give that up. She's got a double-double, Saniya Rivers, along with her teammate River Baldwin.
And we talked about how she's kind of been off scoring the ball today.
Fourth foul on Baldwin puts Bransford on the line. Reminder that tonight at 10 Eastern, after our women's basketball doubleheader, that's coverage you can only find in one place, right here on ACC Network and the ESPN app. And this game tonight has really moved quickly with, as we just talked about, the lack of a lot of fouls.
And I feel like if you're Notre Dame, it's a good time to kind of talk about, you have Duke next at Duke. What can you do to end this game to kind of already start thinking about how you can be successful in Cameron for the next one? You know, handling pressure, rebounding, things that they, can still do well to end this game and take that over into that Duke game.
25% shooting for the game for the team that leads the ACC in field goal percentage to Wolf. But what an impressive performance to come here to South Bend and do this if you're NC State.
Yeah, especially knowing what their schedule has looked like.
To Wolf. Been that kind of night, just hasn't gone in. The offensive rebound does give 2 more points and a chance for another for Citron. You talked about going on the road to Cameron, facing Duke, who's coming up after us here on the road in Blacksburg, taking on the Hokies tonight. But look, Jasmine, tonight this is just a statement.